Hello, good morning class. Welcome to Craft Design. I am your teacher Therese and we will be going to discuss about crochet. So, crochet is a fiber art done with one hook and one strand of yarn. The main difference between crochet and knitting is that crochet has only one lip stitch at all times, the stitch that lives on your hook. Crochet stitches have different heights and can be increased, decreased, and combined almost exactly like stitches in knitting. And for our objectives, at the end of the lesson, you will be able to define crochet, differentiate the different stitches in crochet, and appreciate the beauty of crochet. For this lesson, we will explore its definition and the different stitches and its meaning. So, crochet craft that developed in 19th century out of a form of chain stitch embroidery done with a hook instead of a needle. In crochet, work the hook is used without a foundation material to make a texture of looped and interlinked chains of thread. These are the must-know stitches that you'll see in almost every crochet pattern. These easy crochet stitches are a good foundation for improving crochet skills as a new crocheter. Keep reading to learn how to make the 6 basic crochet stitches for beginners. The first one is the chain stitch. The chain stitches are an integral part of crocheting. After making a slip knot, the next step in a project is usually to create a series of chain stitches. Chain stitches form the foundation on which you build the rest of the project. They are one of several essential stitches that every beginner should know. I will show you a video clip on how to make chain stitch.
Chain stitch. Hold your hook so that it's in front of the working yarn and the tip of your hook is facing you. Do a yarn over, which means bringing your hook below and behind the working yarn. Now pull that yarn through the one loop that's on your hook. So you should have one loop left on your hook. That is a chain stitch.
The second one is the single crochet. Single crochet, referred to as double crochet in British crochet patterns, is one of the easiest stitches to master. Once you've learned the single crochet stitch, there are countless ways to use it. You can work it in rows, rounds, or spirals as edging to create different effects or combine it with other stitches in countless variations. Here's a video clip on how to make a single crochet.
To do a single crochet stitch, put your hook into the next hole. So it should look like you have 3 strands of yarn on your hook. Your hook should be in front of the working yarn and the tip of the hook facing you. Next, do a yarn over. Bring the hook down below and behind the working yarn so that the hook is grabbing onto that yarn. Then pull that yarn through just the first 2 loops on your hook. The moment you pull the working yarn through those 2 loops, push your hook off to your yarn hand to secure your new loop on your hook. So you should have 2 loops on your hook right now. Now the hook should still be in front of the working yarn, tip of the hook facing you. We're going to yarn over again. So bring the hook down below and behind the working yarn. And now pull that yarn through both loops on the hook this time, so you're left with only 1 loop on the hook. And that is a single crochet stitch.
The third one is the double crochet. Double crochet is a taller stitch than single crochet. It is formed by a yarn over, which is wrapping yarn from back to front before placing the hook in the stitch. Holding foundation chain in desired position, yarn over and insert hook into the 4th chain from the hook. Yarn over and pull through chain. I will show you a video clip on how to create double crochet.
To do a double crochet stitch, you're going to start with a yarn over. So with your hook in front of the working yarn, tip of the hook facing you, bring your hook below and behind the working yarn. Now stick the hook into the next hole, so it should look like you have 4 strands of yarn on the hook. Now you're going to yarn over again, so bring the hook below and behind the working yarn, and pull that yarn through just the first 2 loops on the hook, so it should look like you have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over again by bringing the hook below and behind the working yarn, and pull this yarn through just the first 2 loops on the hook, so you are left with 2 loops on the hook. Then yarn over one last time, bringing the hook below and behind the working yarn, and pull that yarn through all 2 loops on the hook, so you're left with 1 loop on the hook. And you have made a double crochet stitch.
The fourth one is a treble crochet. Treble crochet or US triple crochet is the next basic stitch after the double crochet. You can use the terms triple or treble interchangeably. The treble crochet is frequently used in crochet patterns and is typically one of the first crochet stitches learned by beginners to the craft. If you have already learned how to double crochet, then it will not be difficult to learn how to treble crochet. I have here a video clip on how to make treble crochet.
To make a triple crochet or treble crochet stitch, you're going to start by yarning over the hook twice. So bring the hook below and behind the yarn, that is yarn over number 1. Then bring the yarn below and behind the yarn a second time, that is yarn over number 2. Then put your hook into the next hole, and it should look like you have 5 strands of yarn on your hook at this point. That V, the horizontal V, that comes from the stitch that you just put your hook under, and then the 3 loops that you had wrapped around your hook to start with. Then you're going to yarn over again, so bring the hook below and behind the yarn one more time, and this time bring the yarn through only that horizontal V that you just put the hook under. So only under those first 2 loops on the hook. So once you've cleared that, you should have 4 loops on your hook. Now you're going to yarn over again, so bring the hook below and behind the yarn, and then bring that yarn through just the first 2 loops on the hook. So now you're left with 3 loops on the hook. Then yarn over again, and then bring that yarn through the next 2 loops on the hook. So now you're left with 2 loops on the hook, and then yarn over one last time and bring that yarn through both loops on the hook, so you're left with 1 loop on the hook. And that is a triple crochet stitch.
The fifth one is the half double crochet. The half double crochet stitch is taller than a single crochet stitch, yet shorter than double crochet stitch. The process of making a half double crochet stitch is very similar to single crochet, with 1 extra yarn over at the beginning. Here's the example video clip on how to make half double crochet.
A half double crochet stitch is slightly taller than a single crochet stitch. To do it, you're gonna first do a yarn over. So hold your hook in front of the working yarn with the tip of your hook facing you. Do a yarn over, which means bringing your hook below and behind the working yarn. Now it should look like you've got 2 strands of yarn on the hook. We're going to put the hook into the next hole, which is this one. And it should look like you've got 4 strands of yarn on the hook now. So your hook should still be in front of the working yarn, tip of the hook facing you. Do another yarn over by bringing the yarn below and behind the working yarn. Pull that yarn through just the first 2 loops on the hook. So now it should look like you have 3 strands of yarn, or 3 loops, on your hook. Now do a yarn over again, bring your hook below and behind the working yarn, and then pull that yarn through all 3 loops on the hook. And that is a half double crochet stitch.
And for the last one is the slip stitch. Slip stitch is a basic crochet stitch that every crocheter should know. It's even useful for knitters. You can use slip stitch to join pieces together, add decorative elements, and finish projects with simple edging. Here's a video clip on how to make slip stitch.
To do a slip stitch, put your hook into the next hole. It should look like you have 3 strands of yarn on your hook. Now you're going to yarn over by bringing your hook down below and behind the working yarn. And then pull that yarn through everything on the hook. So pull it through the hole your hook just went through as well as the loop that's on your hook. So you should have 1 loop left on the hook. That is a slip stitch.
And to summarize it all, from the chain stitch, start with a slip knot, yarn over and draw yarn through, repeat over and over for as many chains as you need. For the single crochet, insert the hook, yarn over and draw through, yarn over and through 2 loops just once. Double crochet, yarn over, insert hook and draw through, yarn over and through 2 loops 2 times. For the treble crochet, yarn over, insert hook and draw through, yarn over and through 2 loops 3 times. For the half double crochet, yarn over, insert hook and draw through, yarn over and through 3 loops. For the slip stitch, insert the hook, yarn over and draw through. Okay, that's all for today. I hope you have learned something from my discussion. Goodbye class. Thank you for listening.